Hello, welcome to another mini here at Soulprint. I think this is actually just going to be a week of minis. There is so much crazy going on, and things are changing so quickly. And I think minis are just the way to go. We'll get as much information out in the shortest video we can manage, and just keep them coming. Um, we knew that this week was going to be crazy. I'm not sure that any of us anticipated this level of crazy, but here we are. What we got to deal with. So. Trump announced on Monday that J.D. Vance was his pick for vice president. Let's take a look at that, shall we? I was always sort of the opinion that Bergman or Bergam or whatever his name is, he was never going to be a serious contender. Why? Well, because he's considered a successful businessman, and that would make Trump feel like perhaps there was some competition there, right? But maybe this guy knew more than Trump knew, and that couldn't happen. And the Marco Rubio thing, I think on a basic level, Trump just doesn't have any respect for him. In part, it energetically, it feels like Trump sort of considers him, well, little Marco, little Rubio, right? He considers him sort of young and childish. So you can see where that he pulled back from that. Now, J.D. Vance, let's talk about J.D. Vance. At one point, he referred to Trump as someone who could literally become America's Hitler. Oh, but apparently he's just changed his mind on that, and now he is, sycophant number one. So what's that about? I mean, literally, listen, don't get your knickers in a knot. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he had chosen Santa Claus as his vice president. He's not going to return to the White House. So it doesn't matter who he chose. In the grand scheme of things, it's just nothing to get worked up about because it doesn't matter, right? It just doesn't. Here we go. Let's take a peek and see what the story is there. I think that Vance has proven to be very malleable. And boy, oh boy, there's nothing Trump likes better than somebody who you can mold and you can diminish. And that's exactly what he's going to do to J.D. Vance. Pence, for everything he had political experience, he had political knowledge. We may not have agreed with him, but in the final analysis, he had some basic understanding of how the government's supposed to run. J.D. Vance does not have that because he doesn't have the experience to have it, which means, and maybe that was part of the Rubio thing, right? He went with somebody who just doesn't have a lot of experience, so there can be very little concern, I don't know, about pushback, right? Let's take a look. Take a quick look. See what we've got going on here. Vance for VP, Vance for VP, Vance for TV, VP. Okay. Yeah. So what we've got here, we're starting off with the Six of Cups, right? And so this is all about Trump trying to revert back to an earlier time. He's trying to get himself back into that White House because he sees that as the only way to escape the trouble he's in. He's going to be a little surprised at this is Trump. He's going to be surprised at all of the communications, all of the talk, um, through the media, through all kinds of various outlets. Um, this is the thing about Trump is he is one of those people that is like, it doesn't matter what they say, whether it's good or bad, as long as they spell the name right. What he's not understanding is that actually, you know what? Sometimes it can be really bad for them to keep on talking about you over and over and over again. The government as it sits now is not going to fall. It is not going to back down against this sort of onslaught of insanity that's coming from Trump and the Republican Party. P Vance is going to literally be a puppet of a messenger, page of wands, all right? He's going to be that person who says whatever he's told to say, who does whatever he's told to do, and he will happily take the vaccine to Trump, which is exactly what Trump wants. But as I said, let's not get worried about it, because you know what? It ain't going to matter. They're not winning. He's not ascending to the White House, and Vance is not coming behind him as his VP. Also, it feels like there's a lot of friction going on. I'm not sure. Is that with the campaign? Is that with, I don't know. But there's definitely a lot of squabbling going on. I mean, I think maybe there was some contention about who was actually going to get picked for VP. But the reality is it doesn't actually matter who had what opinion. When it comes right down to it, it's very much Trump's show, right? And he very much is feeling that he is the star of his show, and that for him, like honestly, life is just a reality show, and he plays various parts. He for sure did not want to be perceived as the victim of that shooting. And so that was what all the fist pumping and the fight was about. He had to come across stronger than a bullet. All right. And frankly, right now, I think he thinks he's like Superman, that he could repel. Right. So what is he? He's a fool, right? And he does things without thinking about consequences. And we know this. Trump says whatever Trump needs to say to get out of the situation he's in the moment. So Vance was a good choice simply because he has very fiery sort of rhetoric. He walks in lockstep with Trump. He his statements, the thing he says, are outrageous, and they're very aggressive. And we know that those are traits that really, really appeal to Trump. So, from that perspective, Trump has found a vice president, aside from the beard, which we know Trump doesn't like, facial hair, but the guy's relatively good looking, I suppose. I look at him and I see slimy, but I'm sure some people must think he's good looking. He's sort of, got that youthful thing going on. He's exactly what Trump would be looking for. Thank you. One of the things that they just told me was part of the reason that Marco Rubio was not going to be a good choice was simply because of his height. Literally. Trump wants a vice president who looks strong and tough and fit and ready to fight, and Marco just didn't have the physical stature. Listen, that's what they said. All right, we've got the 8 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. Okay, so Vance thinks that he is walking away into something that is going to be a new beginning, a new start. And it's not, all right? Like literally, you've got the Five of Swords here followed by the Seven of Swords. So what you've got is, kind of bullying. Whatever modicum of dignity he had is going to be stripped. It'll be stolen from him because he's going to be spending so much time prone. Um, because that's what Trump's going to do, right? That's what Trump's going to make him. Now, there are still some things that are being hidden that we don't know about, but they'll bubble up to the surface. It has to do with the choice Trump made in Vance. I don't know if it was something that was strongly suggested to him, but it's a partnership that it's a partnership where one person says everything and the other person says nothing except to mimic and repeat whatever, his boss is saying in a more forceful and aggressive manner. Because why? Well, because Trump views that as being strong. And for him, strength is everything. And he really believes, bless his soul, that this is going to take him to a happy and wonderful place. And you know what? Once he gets there, he can make all of the things that are still hidden in the closets and all the secrets go away, because he doesn't understand that how we function and where we live it's a place of balance. There has to be some degree of balance. It's never perfect, but there's a flux. But what's going on now is sort of like this. And so he's not going to take or utilize the opportunity to bring any sort of temperance or balance to things. It's going to become more and more aggressive, and the messaging is going to become more and more and more in your face. And guess where that takes you? To the end. To the end. And it stops. All right. I'm not sure exactly, but you definitely have money, finances playing a role. And you definitely have a situation where the tighter people are bound to Trump, the less they choose to see, the more anxiety and worry and confusion it brings to them. Ultimately, you have people who are sick, who end up leaving, or who end up becoming so quiet and silent that they're like a mouse. So, listen, Trump's not ever going to return to the White House. It's just not going to happen. The reason it's not going to happen is because all of you guys out there, you Americans out there who are mobilizing and are doing everything in your power to move this election forward in a way so that Biden not just comes out the winner, but absolutely obliterates the Republicans. And so in some ways, the fight has just started. It's exhausting. I mean, my God, it's like Monday afternoon, and Saturday feels like a lifetime away, like despite the fact that they keep showing the damn thing on a loop. So it's important that everybody do what they can do to stay grounded and centered, because the energy is moving so quickly, and we're not done. Okay, like don't for 1 second think, oh, okay, so there was the attempted assassination, shooting. Oh, okay, there's the VP. It's not over. This is the beginning, and it's going to become more and more intense and more stressful. And so it becomes really important that you pick and choose what you let into your circle, right? Don't watch 8 hours of MSNBC or CNN or whoever it is, because you get saturated. And when your brain is saturated, you actually can't think clearly. You can't focus. So, be mindful about what you're letting in to your circle of energy. Be mindful about, is this actually helping, or is it feeding kind of that low grade panic where you think things are spiraling out of control? They're not spiraling out of control. They're spiraling exactly the way they need to bring about the kind of forceful win that needs to be had. It is spiraling so that everyone can see where the weaknesses in the system are, and that we recognize that Biden getting in for a second term isn't enough. Things need to be fixed. Can't fix them when you don't acknowledge there's a problem or there's an issue. So this period of time. Just prepare yourself. There's going to be more sudden shocks. There's going to be more crazy stuff going on. And you're going to do what you need to do to keep yourself healthy and sane and relaxed. And you're going to be busy doing what you need to do to support an overwhelming victory for not only Joe Biden, but all the Democrats down ballot that there are. Okay, that's what I know. Don't forget to pop your questions into the comment section for Pendulum Friday. And until the next mini, take good care of yourself and be well. Bye-bye for now.